today for Fat to Fit. I wanted to go into something. It's been 2 weeks since I left something, and you know me, I don't like to leave something on video just to hear my head roar. I've been taking and learning some new things, and I really wanted to get into the mastery of being successful and getting what you want from the universe. And I'm not getting mystical, I'm not getting religious. I'm just talking about changing your mindset, whether it be losing a couple pounds or losing 100 pounds or starting a new business, or us truck drivers, becoming more successful. It's what I use and what I do. I've been doing it ever since I was a kid. When I first started my first company and I had 55 employees, one of the things I chose to do, I remember, let me tell you a little story. I remember when I was a kid, me and my homeboy used to spend the night over each other's house all the time, like kids do, right? And we used to dream, and we'd sit there and be like, like we played a game, that's your car, that's my car. And I used to sit back and I used to speak things into, I didn't know I was speaking things into existence, but it started a pattern. And I remember me and him used to sit there and we'd be talking about, what we're going to be when we grow up and all this other stuff, what kind of car we were going to have. And I remember as a young teenager telling him, I'm either going to have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. And if you think I'm joking, you think I'm joking, this guy, my best friend, my brother, his name is Clemente. His name is Pete. We call him Pete. My mom, that's my mom's son. That's my brother. Me and him used to be inseparable. There's three of us. Me, Pete, and Anthony. We were inseparable, okay? But me and Pete spent a lot of time together. So, Pete kept me out of a lot of trouble. Anyway, and so I remember telling him, I'm going to have a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. Now, this was before I had a driver's license. But I knew what I wanted. I just didn't know how the universe was going to bless me to get there. It's what and I said that to say this, being positive, I get the chills thinking about this. Because I'm so happy to explain this to you and to share this knowledge with you. Being positive and knowing what you want and focusing on it. I don't care what age you are, what religion, what background you have. Positivity and putting what you want. I had this conversation last night. Putting what you want that's positive in the ether, in the atmosphere, will come back to you. Just like if you put out negative things will come back to you. Trust on that. But I remember before I even had a driver's license telling Pete this, and he's like, but he never, this is what I love about my friends. The ones that I call my brothers, they don't never put down my ideas, and I got some crazy ass ideas, but they don't ever say, yeah, man, that ain't gonna work out. We just talked about it. I remember as kids, and remember, this is before I had a driver's license. So let's fast forward 11 years later. I won't get to the 11 years. Let's talk about how the universe, when you speak something into existence, the universe will perform. That is a fact. Some people say, I pray to God or whatever your belief is. But what you speak in your frequency that you're speaking it on will return to you. I was always joyous about talking about Ferraris and this. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have that. I put out a positive frequency, and just like a tuning fork, it came back. And I remember I was like, I didn't want to work for somebody, but I worked for people through my teenage years, sometimes 2 and 3 jobs. And it taught me a great deal. I grew up working ever since I was a kid. My dad used to have me cleaning up the yard when I was like barely could walk, and he would take me out at like 5 in the morning, and he'd be cleaning the yard, and he would pay me, which he would take the dollar back. That's another story. I won't get into that. But anyway, and I would move one rock to the other. So I grew up working at a very young age. So I understood work. I always had a very good work ethic. I didn't have a book learn ethic, but I had a good work ethic and common sense. This is why I'm saying I'm not the prettiest dude. I'm not the best looking guy. I'm not the smartest by any means. But the success that I've had in my life, and don't get me wrong, I've gone broke too. And had to build back up and go on. So I'm not bragging. But the success that the universe has given me, that if you call it God or whatever you want to call it, is because I never stopped. I was too dumb to fail. I was too dumb to stop failing. Because eventually you fail and fail and fail until you succeed. So what I did is you know, I just had a hard head. I was just too dumb to go, well, I'm going to give up. I was too dumb to give up. And I never would. And my first business did okay. I remember opening my first business when I was like 13 years old or younger. And I was mowing lawns. And I didn't know that the cuttings from the grass gave me asthma. So I'd cut a grass and go to the hospital. Cut a grass. Finally, my mom, which is a nurse, she figured it out. They knew what was wrong with me, but I wanted to make money on the weekends. So I hired somebody, one of the other kids, and that's how I made my yard business. That was like my first business. Then fast forward till in my 20s, and I started my second business, the one I ended up selling. And let's fast forward that. Remember what I told you. Before I could drive, I was focusing on Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Now, you have to understand, I grew up during the 80s period as an adult. The dope era, you seen all the fancy cars, the dope kids had the Cadillacs and this, and I didn't never want anybody to pigeonhole me. I believe that my dreams were bigger than a Cadillac. My dreams were bigger than the hood. You know, and I could make them come true. So fast forward, let's say 11 years, by the age of 27, I semi-retired. I bought my first Ferrari Testarossa. I thought I was the shit, I ain't gonna lie. And dumbest investment I ever made, because if you make money, you don't spend it on a car. Rich people don't spend their first little money on cars. They reinvest it to make more money. But I never grew up with any money, and that's no excuse. I should have learned and educated, because if I believe, and this is the thing about belief, if you truly believe you're going to be successful, you'll start finding what other successful people do when they become successful to keep the money coming in, or the blessing, or whatever you want to call it, coming in. I made those dreams about the Ferrari when I was young. I didn't know how to put myself in that position to continue to make money. I thought $1 million, whatever, however much money I had, was going to be good. I didn't know that you could spend $1 million in 30 minutes. All right, so that being said, $1 million ain't shit. So now you got to set your goals up higher. Now my goals are through the stratosphere, you know. But I am going to meet those goals. And the thing about that is the energy that you put out. I put that energy out when I was a kid, and had no idea how I was going to make that come true. But I believed, honestly, like I said, I was too dumb not to believe. And I believed I could do it, or somehow it was going to get done. And it came through a janitorial business that me and my ex-wife at the time, she helped me start. That's why I love her to this day. She helped me start, and it blew up. Ended up being with 53 employees. I owned a consulting company for Old Country Buffet, and before their demise, and I traveled the United States. I did a lot of things, and then, so you know, that being said, then I went broke. Let me tell you the bad. I went broke because I didn't understand how to manage money. Did it again. Made another business. Did it again. The thing of it is what you put out in the atmosphere, what you put out in the world, will come back to you. And I always believe that if you put out positivity, it's going to come back to you tenfold. You put out negativity, it's going to come back to you 20-fold sometime. You know, because one negative thought can get you killed, and you don't have a chance to re-up on the positive thought. A positive thought can come back 10 times, and that 10 times be manifested 100 times. So don't get the math messed up. But I said that to say this. Every day in this world, please wake up and say how great you are. Every day in this world, wake up and say, I am beautiful. Every day in this world, recognize I am a genius. Recognize that you are better than you were yesterday. That's all I gotta say. I just want you to recognize that you are beautiful, you are smart, you have a dream. Make that dream come true. Put it in the atmosphere. That I just spit on my steering wheel. I probably did, but I'm not gonna erase this video. It's a one-take shake. I'm just saying, be positive. Never, ever, ever give up. Be too stupid to quit. And yes, I get chills when I talk about it because I grew up poor, but we didn't know we were poor. Well, as kids, I grew up without. I remember government cheese. I remember powdered milk. I remember them government cornflakes. And I also remember eating at the finest restaurants and driving one of the finest cars and having a Bentley and all these things. So don't give up on your dream. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. You are beautiful. You're smart. You're intelligent. Don't give up. That's the message. This is Dave from Fat to Fit. I love my community. I love you guys. And I know for a fact that you can do anything you put your mind to. You can do whatever you put your mind to, and whatever you put out positive out in the ether is going to come back. Don't put out anything negative that you don't want to come back to you. Love yourself first before you can love someone else. Understand how great you are before you're looking for greatness in others. You are the greatest individual on this planet, first and foremost. Because if you can't be great for yourself, you'll never be great for anyone else. A rich man told me that. Last story, I thought I had a lot of money and I was loaning it to people, 100,000. I was just doing way too much, but I was making money, so I thought I could just, and he came to me and said, you're a fool. One, you're a fool for buying that Ferrari. He said, you got to be worth $12 to $20 million to buy that kind of car. Because when I got my Ferrari, my alternator and stuff went out, they cost me $25,000 to get it fixed one time, and they don't take payments. It didn't bother me, but it bothered me. I had the money, but it bothered me. But so when he came to me, he goes, those kind of repairs you shouldn't even worry about if you got $10 to $20 million. He said, you don't make enough money. So that was a stupid purchase. Second of all, stop loaning out all these people your money. You're trying to help all these people, but none of them are helping you back. He said, you've got to be worth 20 times what you loan out. And so stop loaning out that much money and understand who your friends really are. But you got to be good for you. You got to be set up 20 times beyond before you start really helping somebody else. I know you got a big heart, but a big heart will be, a fool will be separated from his money. And he was right. He was right. So that being said, understand you got to be good for you first. You got to be smart for you first. Because if you don't better yourself first, how can you better somebody else? How can I sit here, if I'm not trying to lose weight driving this truck and try and stay in the best shape that I can be in, how can I sit there and tell you what to do? Or give you advice? Why would you even pay attention to me? So, that being said, I'm done. I'm done with my rant. This is Dave from Fat to Fit. Please like and subscribe. Press the notification button. I said it right this time. I'm so proud of my community. I'm so proud of you guys. You are the best therapy for me that I could ever have. And yes, I get emotional sometimes. And yes, I love what I do. And yes, the products are coming out soon. And yes, you can do it. And remember, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent. This is Dave signing out. Woo woo.